This is Simon. Okay. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Um, let's actually watch that again. Just focus on the lighting. I would say that this is a bit overexposed, which isn't necessarily wrong if there's a lot of sunlight coming in, but I would be inclined to tone it down a little bit, um, so it's not just so bright on the one side. Let's take a look in Maya. So you've got a window light, a wall light, and a volume light here. So let's look at this window light, and oh, the intensity on that's only zero point 0.8. Let's see what happens when we go to 0. Oh, okay, it is that one. Must be big. Still like 0.3, 0.4, maybe 0.5. So then, yeah, it's still getting pretty hot here. Maybe we'd go down back to 0.4. Yeah, there's still a feeling of a bright light coming from that side, but without overexposing. Um, and you're definitely getting some contrast, of a bright side and a dark side. So I would try toning that down a little bit. One thing on the animation is to look out for uh, like that kind of elbow pop. So you might want to. Where's the controls? So you might want to move the elbow a little bit earlier, maybe just a couple frames. If I take this keyframe and go back a few frames, maybe one forward. Whoops. And another thing is the hand, it would look better if it kind of, didn't stay so level before he put it on his lap. Like you could go, when it's up here, for example, maybe it rotates down like that. And maybe you can go, just exaggerate it and go a little bit higher. See how we like that at full speed. Kind of feel like his hand leaves his knee a little bit sooner than it needs to. Like I would keep it here. I'm just gonna middle mouse click to update the time without updating the position and keyframe it. But then you could, oh, I kind of like that better. Yeah, the fingers are sort of responding to his knee then. That kind of works. Yeah. And I also thought like a little thing like when he feels his tummy, his body's really still, but it's kind of like I feel like when you feel your tummy, you kind of tend to lean into it. So I might let's make sure these are keyframed here, and then for this, maybe he kind of goes like ooh, and then I'd have to actually lower this down a bit. Doesn't that feel more like he's like when he leans, bends down into that? It feels like he's going, "Ooh, I'm hungry. My tummy hurts." You know. So maybe try that. And I think you need to that cuts away so fast. I think you just need to hold on this camera position just at least a few more frames because it's like we barely get to see the change of expression, even if it's just 3 or 4 more frames. Um, so I just selected the camera, I might take this keyframe. Let's go a few frames. And then let's make the whole thing a little bit longer, 260. Okay, let's watch it now. Yeah, that could be even long. You know what? I felt like actually this could hold a little longer too. Both the pose and the camera. Like this pose, it's just like a few more frames in that camera position. Because when you watch it, if you're just watching it for the first time, oh, that's timing's okay. But yeah, it's like he doesn't really stop and hold that pose. So you definitely need to hold that pose a little bit longer. Oh, that's not working. So, first thing I'm gonna, can I hold down shift and select the camera? That doesn't work. Okay, I can shift select all these with the camera. So if I add frames, I can push the camera frame back. So what I'm going to do is add a few frames first. So keys, add in between, and then hit G to repeat that and go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's like I've added 8 frames. And then I might hold this pose for, at least most of those frames. So I'll middle mouse click here and set a keyframe. Except now we've changed your camera keyframes tangent type. Probably just delete this to get rid of that. Yeah, that's getting better. Okay, well you get the idea. A few little fixes. Basically, I think this is coming along very well. I think you're doing a great job.